In early April of this year, we decided to build another small greenhouse, a small growing space to extend our growing season and to keep our vegetables safe from rabbits and deer who would enjoy eating them as much as we do. And then in May, we decided to do something very unusual for greenhouse growing. We decided to take off the roof, and we decided to replace it with a living roof. What we wanted to create was not just a protected space to grow food, but also a sanctuary, a green oasis that was protected from the scorching summer sun, a shaded space to come home to after a long day of work, to gather food for dinner or just sit for a while and relax and enjoy the space. But we had never done anything like this before, and we weren't sure exactly how well it would work. We had a lot of questions about what we could actually grow in this space once the pole beans started to cover the roof. There were a lot of vegetables that we wanted to grow, but we didn't know how limited we would be by growing in so much shade. We knew we wanted to grow a lot of sun-loving eggplants, and not just a few, but a lot of eggplants to use in our Asian-inspired cooking. But we knew that low light could often mean low production. We also wanted to grow some sun-loving cucumbers, because we use a lot of cucumbers in our salads. We had a list of so many sun and heat-loving vegetables that we wanted to grow in this space, like cherry tomatoes and heirloom tomatoes, and different varieties of peppers for our stir-fries, and fresh basil to make pesto. So we decided to just go ahead and plant them all and see what happened. So I'd like to take you on a tour of the greenhouse to see what we have growing inside and how we're managing to make it work growing under so much shade. So one of the things that has helped us immensely is how this little greenhouse was built. We have several videos showing how we build these greenhouses, but for a quick recap, we build them making a frame of 4x4 timbers, scrap wood and cull lumber, and then we just place rolled fencing over the entire structure. We then place plastic sheeting over the whole thing when the temperatures are cooler in the spring and fall. This way of building gives us what is basically a trellis up the sides and over the roof. This allows us to save space by growing some plants vertically, because the greenhouses that we build are all very small. We decided to plant many of our sun-loving vining vegetables on the north side of the greenhouse, using the walls as the trellis. We planted them on the north side so they would not block any sunlight that was coming in. We didn't want them to cast shade on the vegetables growing nearby. The pole beans above would be creating a lot of shade, so we did not want to add more. Although we were trying to create a shaded greenhouse, we needed to be careful to not create too much shade. When we started planting the non-vining vegetables, we started by watching where the sun came in through the pole bean vines throughout the day, so they could be planted in the spots that received the most light. We also had to factor in how much area of the roof they would cover eventually. We knew that we could reposition the pole bean vines a bit, but we also needed to try to plan out our plantings very carefully. We planted all of our tomatoes in 2 raised beds in the very center of the greenhouse because we knew that they would need the most light to bear fruit, and also because it was the location where there was a break in the trees above the greenhouse. So far, positioning them in the center has worked well. They're all healthy and loaded with fruit. We've already started to pick the ripe cherry tomatoes as they appear to put in our salads. The eggplant and pepper plants line the walls underneath the pole beans. They're producing well, and we've already harvested many peppers and Asian eggplants. What has helped us be successful is choosing the right varieties to grow in these conditions. We're growing small eggplants and small hot peppers that mature quickly. Although they would produce more in full sun, they produce enough where they are for just 2 people to eat several times a week. And of course, the purple pole bean plants are our best producers. They're a variety of heirloom purple pole beans, and we could gather beans every day from these plants. They're producing so much, and they're just getting started. I will need to start freezing some of them once they're at peak production. Now that we've been growing for a few months in this greenhouse, I can definitely say that we'll be growing like this every season in this greenhouse. It's worked out very well, and we've been surprised at just how well the plants inside are growing. We've been experiencing numerous heat waves this summer, but the plants inside here are doing very well. And we've really been enjoying this space. I love coming in here at the end of the day to see what's ready to be picked for our meals, or just to spend some time in when the sun is setting and the whole greenhouse is bathed in the glow of twilight. It's a space that I always seek out at the end of the day, a tranquil space, a quiet space, and a space full of beauty. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we hope that it inspired you to create a little green sanctuary of your own.